Okay, I think we are now officially live.
We are officially live.
We are officially live. Yay. Um, I am bringing up my social score here while we get people to come in. Kevin is here waiting in the lobby bar. Kevin, we love you. One of my favorite people for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
would love to know his score. Maybe he'll put in the chat later.
Maybe that'll make me feel better or worse.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But that's one of the things we're going to talk about, right? Is
Yes.
what is the LinkedIn SSI score? What does it mean, right? And
And
Allison has her coffee.
how is it not a level playing field? I think that's something that not everyone knows, that you cannot possibly get the same SSI score if you don't have Sales Navigator. And I think that's something a lot of people don't know.
Right. And so that's their push for it.
Totally.
Yes. And do you really need it? For some people it's useful, for others, no, right?
Yes.
But as our dear friend Kevin will tell us, that's what LinkedIn wants. They're all about making their money, making their profit. And before we really dive into this, I want to say some hellos. Obviously, you said hi to Kevin and Allison, Meryl Cass, hi Charity, Philip. It says LinkedIn user, hi from LA. I'm not sure who that is. Serena Diamond, Michelle Adler, welcome. Today, we are going to talk about LinkedIn analytics. Leanna and Sean have also joined us. And we thought we would talk first about the SSI score. Right? Are you tracking your SSI score? What does it actually mean? And real quickly, for those of you who are not familiar with it, I'm going to give you the link to look at your SSI score. It is linkedin.com/sales/SSI. And I should probably copy that and put it into the chat.
And I think it's interesting, right? What's part of that URL? Sales. And so I think, I honestly never paid a whole lot of attention to my SSI score. And then, I don't know, Wendy, maybe like a month or so ago, people started talking about how out of nowhere their SSI score dropped by like 20 points and everybody started to panic. And then it came back. And so I started to pay a little bit of attention to it just out of curiosity. And so ahead of this conversation today, I went back and checked mine. And guess what? Mine has dropped again. Again. And that's ironic because everything for me from a LinkedIn perspective has been going amazingly. My engagement is as strong as it's ever been. My business is as strong as it's ever been. I don't use Sales Navigator. Now, Sales Navigator is a fantastic tool and it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. But if you don't do a lot of outbound, it's not really necessary.
Right.
But
agreed.
It really impacts your SSI score.
Right, which is unfortunate. So the bottom line, and I want to talk about what your score is. I want to share my score with people. But the bottom line is it's not one of those metrics that is really, really important for you to track. It's great to look at, and it's good to follow along and try and get it up, because obviously where they're telling you need improvement, you still need improvement, but definitely don't worry about the actual score. So do you want to share yours first, or shall I share mine?
Sure. I mean, and before the big reveal, there's 4 different areas that go into your SSI score, right? So it's establishing your professional brand, it's finding the right people, it's engaging with insights, and it's building relationships. And 2 of those in particular, finding the right people and engaging with insights, are heavily influenced by whether or not you have Sales Navigator. And even building relationships is to a smaller degree. So the most you can get is 25 for each of those quadrants. So the best SSI score you can possibly have is 100. I've never met anyone who had 100. I don't think anyone has ever had 100. If somebody has, I'd love to hear. And without Sales Navigator, truthfully, the average good SSI score is around 75 to 80 is what I've always heard. Until recently, like pre all of these hiccups, my SSI score was in the low 70s. I want to say like 72. And right now it's at 63. And the funny thing is, apparently that's the top 1% in my industry. So I think that's a really good lesson. What I like to tell people about SSI is take a look at it. And if one of those quadrant scores is exceptionally low, then that's an area you know that you should focus on.
Right. Absolutely. So you're a 63. I'm a 55. I'm a 55. I have 19 and change in the establish your professional brand, 94 and change and find the right people, 11 engage with insights, and 15.2 and build relationships. Total 55. I am 9%. But interestingly enough, before I looked at this, the last time I looked at it, I was at the 1% in my industry. And I was only, I think I had like a 69 or maybe it was a 70. I don't really remember because I looked at what comprised it and where maybe I could improve, right? And engaging, which I always did, shows I have a lot of improvement, but that's more of what I do than post, which is kind of funny. So, like you stated, the LinkedIn algorithm favors those who have Sales Navigator when it comes to the SSI score. I heard that somebody got Sales Navigator and their score jumped like 8 points.
Yes, I have read anecdotally that the that Sales Navigator can add 7 points to each of those two quadrants that I mentioned. So finding the right people and engaging with insights. So that's 14 points that I've heard from somebody who I trust, that Sales Navigator can have that much of an impact. So that's why, you know, my advice is know what it is, use it to analyze like where you might want to focus some attention, but I would never advocate for, you know, obsessing over it or thinking that you have to get your score up by, you know, 10, 15, 20 points. I just don't think that's a good use of time.
I just want to know that I dropped the link again in the chat. And Allison is asking, my engage with insights is so that it's clearly an area I can do better. Does that mean engaging on posts?
So yes, it means being strategic about where you're commenting, where you're posting, what you're posting, and then also your DMs. Are you DMing with, you know, people who are in your target ICP or who are decision makers who would be moving the needle for you?
And Leanne asked, is Sales Navigator really necessary merely to get your scores up? No.
I mean, it will have an impact on your score. I think I feel comfortable saying that if you get Sales Navigator and start using it, your SSI score will increase. But what does that mean?
Right. Like, do you need to get your scores up? I think was more like the question. And no, you really don't. You know what I want to kind of just sort of pivot a little bit and talk about what is important when you're talking about the analytics, right? I mean, I think knowing your SSI score and knowing where to find it is important. It does show you areas where you could spend a little bit more time. Although, like I said, I try to engage with insights. That's sort of what I do because I enjoy that so much. So giving me an 11 and saying I have room for improvement, I'm not really sure how. Let me step back. I have been a little bit absent this week. As you know, my mom is in the hospital. She's doing much better, thank goodness. But maybe because I sort of dropped off a little bit this week, my score went down. And because I'm not looking at it every week, maybe I should look at it every Sunday just to see.
Oh. I mean, to me, honestly, everything is a data point, right? And data points are interesting. Data points are useful. They're also not that useful in isolation. And so what I would love to see is a little bit more robust reporting. If LinkedIn is going to offer this insight to us, right? You go to that link, you get your score. Would be great if they gave some advice as to what would raise that score. Because that's what I think is missing. People, you know, just having that information and that data is not necessarily all that helpful in a vacuum. Yes, it can point you towards, oh, it's telling me my profile isn't, you know, that first one, right? That establishing a professional brand. That's all about optimizing your profile, and sharing content. And so that's a little bit more of a straightforward one. Like you might be able to figure out on your own or with a little bit of help, like how you could better optimize your profile. But some of the other ones, to your point, that's engaging with insights is something that you feel you excel at and enjoy. So why is your score so low? So I believe all metrics and all KPIs when it comes to LinkedIn have to kind of be viewed as a totality and as a whole, yes, and use them to your advantage.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, right? Any number doesn't mean anything until you look at the whole big picture, right? Yeah. You have to have the whole big picture. It's like one of those little pictures that's made up of little pictures, right? You see a little picture there, but when you step back, then you can see the whole picture. And for me, I like to look at what is getting engagement, number one, but more importantly, what is causing people to reach out to me to say, how can you help me? For me, as a self-employed, I have my own business, as a solopreneur, what my metric is, who's reaching out to me to say it was helpful, who's reaching out for a phone call, in the DMs. Second to me is the engagement, right? And then third to me is the virality. But when I look at the data points, as you said, I look at who's interacting with me, yes, right? Because that's really important. Who are they? Where are they from? What industry are they in? Right? So these are things that where you thought you may have had a niche or an ideal client, when you see that the people who are engaging with you are not who you thought they might be, either you pivot or you change your ideal client and then you say, okay, you know what? This is who I'm resonating with. This is where I need to go, right? And that's part of the importance of looking at your analytics. It's looking at the data, not just, and we'll talk about the virality and the different things, because I think there's some importance in that too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think there is still this focus on getting something to go viral and this focus on impressions. Last year, I had a post go legitimately viral. It had something insane, like 750,000 impressions. It had 3,000 reactions. It had so many reposts that I was actually like, I swear, guys, this is legit. This is real. And you know what? It was fun. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed every second of it. I would check back on the post every once in a while and see how much, the metrics had changed. My life was exactly the same the next day. I don't even know, did I get any clients from that post? Maybe, but none that I can point to. Nobody specifically said, oh my God, I saw that amazing post you did about the Olympics, because that's what it was about. Let's have a call. So did somebody that became a client see that post? Maybe. But I think that's so important that we understand that impressions, even likes, they're not dollars, right? They're not necessarily bringing clients to you. They're not necessarily bringing recruiters to your profile if you're in a job search. It's really important to focus on the outcomes, right? On who's reaching out to you in the DMs, on who is engaging with your content and forming relationships. That's really the metric that I like to look at, because your post could have 1,000 likes, and then what came of it?
Exactly. There's something to be said about the virality and also the number of followers. I did a little bit of a study, and it's on my website with someone, and they had a post. They had 3,000 followers. They had a post that got 300 likes, and it resulted in 3 phone calls.
Yep.
Right? So the amount of followers you have doesn't really matter if the content you're creating is hitting the right people. And that's, regardless of why you're on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn to grow a business, then that is a metric you want to look at. If you're on LinkedIn to establish thought leadership for your, position, whether you're self-employed or working for somebody, then it's a different thing that you're looking at. You are looking at how much engagement you're getting, because that's going to establish your thought leadership. And the truth of the matter is, I found that your number of followers, while they don't lead to sales, sometimes when people look at your profile, they're looking at how many people are following you. Even though that doesn't really mean that you're a better X, Y, and Z at doing X, Y, and Z, but people do look at that. I think people are wising up and they're looking to see more, not just how many followers you have, but how many people are engaging.
And engaging authentically. So
Yes.
all right, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a minute, so please bear with me. I see, so two things. One, I see people with huge followings and their posts have almost no engagement. So that's a little bit of a red flag to me.
Yes.
The other one is, yes, they have a big following and then their posts get tons of engagement, but something just feels off about it, right? So I think we've all seen these accounts where they post something and within 15 minutes, it has 400 reactions. That's not normal. And if that happens on a perpetual basis, I have to believe that there's some automation at play. And, you know, this is a topic I feel super passionately about. If you are engaging in automated inflation of your metrics, I don't think you're gaining anything. It might look nice, it might make you feel good, but what are you getting out of it? Because getting likes and comments from bots, to me, doesn't accomplish anything. Those bots are not going to be your clients. Those bots are not going to hire you. Those bots are not going to be collaboration partners, right? I think about almost everything that's happened to me in the last 4 years, and it's all because of showing up here authentically and engaging with people authentically. And I don't pretend that it doesn't take time and effort. It does, but so does almost anything worth doing. And so that's my little soapbox about bot farms.
No, 100%. And I can't imagine that it feels good, right? I can't imagine that it feels good to have comments from bots. You may feel like you're fooling somebody, but it's still got to make you feel a little bit icky inside, I would think, right?
I would hope so. I would hope so. But you know what? I don't know. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite comment from Josh. So Josh and I have a running joke about LinkedIn pillows. So thank you for putting that up and making me laugh.
Although I do have a post with my LinkedIn pillow.
Make sure Josh sees it. You hear that, Josh? Got to check it out.
I'm gonna repost it and I'm gonna tag you in it, Josh. That's funny. Yeah, no, I love my LinkedIn pillows. So I love this. So Karen said, there you go, Karen. So it is like a little bit of a vanity metric. I'm doing well, right? And that's what LinkedIn wants. They want you to feel good, or they want you to feel like you have to put in more effort, right? And show up. So they know how to play that, you know, game, for lack of a better word, where they're enticing you to spend more, but at the same time giving you like little bones, right? Little dopamine hits, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. Pods, egad. Wait, who is the person who follows the pods? There's somebody.
Daniel H, exactly who Meryl's tagging. So it's Daniel Hall.
Okay.
And he does a fantastic, it's a newsletter. It's called Spotapod. And he talks about accounts that he's actually infiltrated some of these pods. And so he basically has the receipts, right? He can see who's doing what. And he calls them out pretty viciously. And I kind of enjoy it.
So I want to tell people, I want to sort of walk through how you would get your analytics, right? For people who don't know, who have never.
Here, wait, Daniel's here. Shout out to Daniel. You do a huge service, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember hearing him in one of our rooms, Clubhouse days. One of our when LinkedIn used to do the live audio, which I do miss, right? Because I like to just be able to jump on and chit chat. I miss having that, but Daniel was talking about that, and thank you for reminding me who he was. Yeah, pod engagement. We can have an entire session on, the effects of it. And yes, in the beginning, it looks great, but people are not dumb, right? In the beginning, you might go, oh, this person's doing really well. But then when you watch them, because you've engaged with them, then you can see, okay, this is feeling a little
Yep.
off
Yep.
somehow, right?
Yes.
And people know that.
There's a few people that I've stopped engaging with because I just feel like my legitimate human comment is just getting lost in this sea of, you know, bot comments. And what's the point? I don't believe the person themselves is even responding to my comment. So why am I going to bother?
So I'm putting a question in the chat here. Who has the new commenting analytics?
I do not. I'm so bitter.
I don't either. I don't. I've seen people posting about it. I saw Yasmin Alec, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, post about it. I asked him. He doesn't have it either. He just knows people who have it.
Really? Huh.
So you know how we talked and we said we feel like we're kind of,
I'm on the D list for upgrades. 100%. I'm one of the last people to get any upgrade. It makes me crazy.
finally got the banner that moves,
Yes,
right? Yes.
I was very happy about that. So I do
Yes.
thank the LinkedIn gods that be that I did get the scrolling banner, which is fun. But
Yes.
yeah, there's these new analytics that show you Wendy, you can speak to it because I know you had a screenshot of it at one point that speak to where you're showing up.
Yes. So that it's in the comments. I don't even know how to access it. But they're calling it the commenting analytics. So I don't know if it's where your normal analytics would be, or if it's literally when you're in your comments, you'll be able to click a little button that says commenting analytics.
Oh, if Kevin's still here, Kevin might know. I believe my understanding was that it's where your normal analytics are, but I could be wrong. That was my understanding, though, is that it's just a more detailed view with different criteria for where you go to normally find your analytics.
I'm not sure, and I don't see Kevin. He may have had to jump off, but you know what? As we know more, maybe we'll do some posts about it because, you know, we often talk about the importance of engaging in the comments,
Oh,
right? And
that's
how you meet people there more than you do from your own posts. And this week that I've been sort of off the platform, I have engaged more than I've posted. As a matter of fact, I think I posted a video and one stagnant post, and that was it. Right. But I got on every day and I engaged. When I was at the hospital, they're taking blood from my mom. They sent us outside the room. I'm on LinkedIn, right? Like that's what I do.
of course. But you know that speaks to my heart. I mean, oh, Kevin is here. Yes, it's in analytics. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's speaking to my heart, right? There is nothing more powerful than comments. I fully believe that comments are every bit as important as content, and in some cases even more so, because that's really where you're forming relationships, where you're meeting people. Someone comments on your post, you comment back, you start having a conversation. You never know where that's going to lead. I mean, that has led to so many, you know, in-person meetings, collaborations. You never know where those comments are going to lead to. So I am a big proponent of the comments, as you all know. And so I just happened to look at the screenshot that you sent me. And just so for the future, whenever any of us get these, so what it's showing now is there's 4 places that you appear, right? So it'll say you appeared in a post, in the comments, network recommendations, or search. So I'm super excited to get this. And, you know, like I said, I'm on the D list. So maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
I did see that someone has a question. Leanne
Yes.
is asking, can you explain what the difference is between impressions and reactions? So reactions are those like, love, celebrate, funny, and insightful, right? Those little emoji icons. So if you like a post, that's a reaction. If you love a post, that's a reaction. Impressions is the number of people who have had your post show up in their feed. And I think it's important to know that that doesn't necessarily mean that they spent a long time reading it, doesn't mean that they clicked on any of your links. It just means that that post showed up in their feed. And if you go a level deeper, you will sometimes see that it will have a number of impressions as well as a number of unique members reached, right? So if Wendy posts something and it shows up in my feed, and then I go back 3 times and look at it, it'll show up as, 4 impressions, but only 1 unique member reached, because I'm just one person, no matter how many times I go back and look at that post.
Now, Michelle asks, is the weekly sharing tracker under your analytics? I'm not sure what the weekly sharing tracker is. Is it under analytics?
Oh, I think Michelle means, so there's this analytic that LinkedIn shares, like how many actions you've taken that week versus their recommended. And mine is usually something absurd, like of the 4 recommended actions, you have 633, because I comment on everything. Yes, that is under your analytics.
Oh, look at that. So Kevin dropped a link about impressions answer here. I'm going to try and open it up, see if I can look. I won't be able to.
Kevin.
Yes, always. And for those of you who don't already know Kevin Turner, please give him a follow if you want to know anything about anything that's going on at LinkedIn. He's always the first to know, post it, people share with him. So definitely, if you want to keep posted, Kevin's the man. Kevin's the man. When you go to your LinkedIn analytics, you can export whether you're looking for 7 days, whether you're looking for 14 days, 28 days, 90 days, and you can even do 365 days, but it only downloads 50. So you'll get the top 50 over the year. You can get the top 50 over the past 90 days. And the thing that I want people to be aware of, we've talked about this. LinkedIn's heavy on video right now, right? They're putting so much stock into video. And I've seen a huge difference in the impressions or the number of times it shows up in my video. And I'm talking where there was, several hundred for regular posting that jumped like in a day up to 60 something thousand for a video, right? And then, increases from there. So video. And I can easily jump on a live like this and talk all day because I like having conversations and I love people, but put just a camera in front of me and be like, okay, talk about the subject. I freeze. What do you want me to say? So we all have to get through that. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day. I put it in my post of my video, but the reason I'm showing up is so that I can help people share what I've learned over the past 30 something years, literally building businesses, all the trials, the tribulations, what to do, what not to do, things I've learned along the way. And if I'm worried that I don't have my makeup on, or I'm worried that my hair is not quite done and I'm not going on the camera, which by the way, I have put it off because I didn't have my face on. I'm doing people a disservice, right? And shame on me. So I'm going to show up regardless of whether I have makeup on. I hope I don't scare people away. Yeah, no.
Your hair is looking lovely today, Wendy.
I thank you. Well, I did put on a face for this because I knew.
No, but it's a good point. And, video is hot on LinkedIn, whether we like it or not. And I know for some people that's a turnoff. They don't feel comfortable. They don't want to do it. And so my advice is you don't have to do anything, right? You never have to do anything. But if one of your intentions and one of your goals is to really be as relevant and have as much impact on the platform as you can, it is a good idea to put a video out there. And there are definitely, some best practices and some, tips that will help it to perform better. But overall, I'm seeing the same thing that you are, Wendy, where my video posts not only have greater impressions, but what I've noticed, and this is really meaningful to me, I've noticed that my video posts reach a broader audience. So a lot of my engagement will always be my first level connections who I love and adore. And I want to see that reach grow further, right? I want to bring in those second and third level connections. And I see a lot more of that on my video content. So that's an important metric for me. And we are already at 30 minutes. So I know we have to wrap soon, but
Yes.
this question is a good one.
It is. It is. And then let's answer this question. And then I just want to thank everybody who's been here today. And one more thing. I know we're not this isn't the reason for this, I promise. You're doing a video course, right? A video. Yeah. So
yes.
drop that in the chat. So in case anybody wants to learn a little bit more on how to do video, as opposed to the reason, just make sure you drop that. And let's answer this question. And I know you know the answer to this. And I'm going to scroll back up and start naming people who are here and thank them so much for being with us today. This went by super fast.
Super fast.
Yes.
Impressions are down for everyone, especially like year over year or, looking back in time. And I mean, obviously, my first answer is if you have a post that is just not getting any traction. I mean, I know people who have said, oh my God, I posted this post and it got, 86 impressions. If you have something like that, then you just posted into some sort of LinkedIn glitch, some sort of LinkedIn void. And I recommend take it down and repost it again. It does happen every once in a while. But again, impressions to me are one of the least important metrics because all that means is that your post went into someone's feed. So it's more for me about what happens to that post. How is your engagement? Are you getting reactions? Are you getting comments? Are people reaching out to you via DM? Are you having conversations? That's really the important thing to me. If I look at my impressions from last year to this year, there's a definite drop. I mean, I would say probably at least 40%, maybe more. And that is not uncommon. That is basically what I'm hearing from everyone.
But engagement is up, and that is the more important metric or factor to track.
Yeah.
So I can't believe we're at the end. I do want to thank people who have been here and contributed in the chat, starting with Kevin and Allison and Meryl. Charity was here. Philip, LinkedIn user from LA. I know she dropped her name. I think it was Nikki, but let me just double check. Serena was here. Michelle Adler, Leanne. Thanks for the great questions. Sean, Lisa Klein, Adrian, Chasen. We have Lola. We have Rich. Rich was here from Tampa. Mohammed, we had Serena, I said already. Thank you for dropping multiple. Why can't I find who was here? Nikki Estes was here as well.
Yes.
Yay. Leanne, Allison, Jacob Stone dropped by. Thank you, Jacob, for being here. Karen Briga and Marcia. Is it Marcia or Marcia? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to have a conversation with her and find out.
Yes.
Raul was here. Christopher Johnson, Paul McCarthy stopped by. Josh McLean, as we know, with the LinkedIn pillows. And Daniel H, we know because he's the pod master. Lets you know what's going on with the pods.
The anti-pod master, yes.
Christy, Leslie, Enrique. Thank you, Enrique. Enrique said that we're amazing outliers, and we love you. He's a rock star. He's definitely a rock star. And thank you for everybody who's going to Zabita.
It's Nina. Our LA user is Nina. Hi, Nina.
Hi, Nina. Nina Steiner. Thank you, Nina. I think the reason it's showing up as LinkedIn user has something to do with the way your profile is set up. If you want to change that, and Helen Arison is here too. If you ladies want to change that, just reach out to Kevin. He'll let you know.
That's Kevin.
And thank you all so much for being here today. And for everybody who's going to be watching this in the replays, please drop something in the chat. Let us know you were here. And we are really excited. We're going to do this again next month. Do you remember the date? Was it the 25th as well?
I believe it was April 25th. That's it. March 25th. That was what was in my head. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Yes.
All right. And every month we're going to have a LinkedIn latte. Grab your latte or grab your tea. No judgment. And we're going to just have conversations about all things going on LinkedIn and how we can maybe help you insightful. Bring your questions. And if there's anything you want us to talk about,
Yes.
just reach out to us, let us know, and we'll make sure that that is a topic of conversation.
Yes, totally. I love that idea.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks.